Okay guys, it's Alex here, just having a little tour of the Maize and just showing you some of those fields that we've got and how it looks. Got my trusty shovel here, just so or spade I say, just to get in and have a little look at what the moisture is like down below. So I'll just do a few holes there. And yeah, looking here in our first field, one of the better fields actually. So we'll just take a look at the crop and see what it's looking like. Okay, so here's the maize. It's really looking quite stressed with all these rolling up leaves to try and maintain the moisture. It just doesn't look very plump. It really needs a good drink. It's not looking that fresh kind of green. It's looking quite a kind of light green now, which, yeah, it's just a classic sign of lack of water. I've dug a little hole over here just to have a look down. The top is just bone dry. There's absolutely nothing there. As you get down a little bit more, it's a little bit dank because I put my fingers down there, but it's pretty dry really. I mean, these clods contain a little bit of moisture. You can see there's a dry cap, and then there's a little bit of moisture on the bottom, but hardly anything at all. So yeah, just speaking with Richard, it's not really surprising. We've only had about 225 mil of rain this year, whereas last year about this point in time we had about 360 odd. And importantly in May and June we've had some really nice rainfalls, whereas this, looking back at the chart for this year, we've had, in May we had a nice dunk of about 30 mil in one go, and then I think there was a 20 mil in June, but that's been the two bits of rain, which is only 5 centimeters. So it's very little. It's just extraordinary. The weather is changing so quick, and certainly on this East Midlands area where we are, it's really bone dry. And I remember in the lockdown we had something similar, 3 months of just no rain whatsoever. But we've got 2 days now of super hot weather forecast for the UK, going up to 40 degrees, which is also unheard of. Yeah, looking into the chart in the future, next weekend's looking hot, back into the 30s. No substantial rain whatsoever coming our way. So yeah, I mean, this crop is really going to struggle. I don't know when the rain's coming, but yeah, just an incredible year. So there we are. We'll go and have a look at some other fields, and I think show you some of the poorer ones as well, to see how that's doing. Okay, so this is just the next field down. I mean, it's not a bad height. It's coming over my head now. I'm 6'1", so you can see the tassels are out here. So going forward to the next stage, you can just start feeling down here. The cob is just starting to form in there. But yeah, again, every leaf is rolled up, stressed, and that with the same story in terms of the water down below. But we'll go and have a look at some of the other fields which weren't rolled, and some of the fields that we really struggled to get the crop in, because as I said before, we're on a clayey ground here, and very hard to break that soil down and form a good seed bed. So it just means that the seed soil contact is low, and you won't, what little moisture we had didn't touch the seed enough to get it going until quite late. So the whole process is just sort of delayed basically. But yeah, we'll go take a look at those fields now. Okay, so here's one of our really weak fields. These are, even a good plant here is probably a maximum 1 meter high. And this is the field that we really didn't get cultivated right. You can see these great big knobs of ground. I mean, now they're shattered up because they've had the rain and then the drying action on them, and it just releases them into small clods. But yeah, if you could come over here with a machine, you'd quickly turn that into quite a nice seed bed. But it's always the way with this clay. You bring it up wet, it goes into slabby concrete balls, and yeah, this is just behind, and yeah, it's struggling away. So there we go. I've just dug up this clod here, and it is actually wet, but it's so hard down beneath that I think what's happening is there's a pan that's formed down below, sort of 6 inches or so of topsoil, and then I think the root is just struggling to get through that. And you know, there's moisture in that, but it's just going to be a pan underneath the ground, really. So I think that's another problem with this very weak field, that it was subsoil, but for some reason it's gone back hard again. It's quite strange what can happen down there, and that's what's making this maize also struggles, I think, to get the roots down. It's a well-known lazy rooter. I think that's what's happening here. Okay, so we're just the other side of the little sort of stream that runs along here, and we didn't roll this field or these fields over here. We did on that side. Obviously I showed you our 2 best fields. This is kind of a little bit more what we're expecting, just very patchy, and you know, it's actually going to tassel, but you can see it's a lot lower. That plant on the other side was above my head, and this one is definitely not. And yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. I was looking at another one just up the top there. It's even worse than this, and you wonder, if it stays like this, are we even going to get a machine through it? But we're just going to have to pray for a little bit of rain come, and yeah, so we'll go and now look at the last field, which is our ex-grass field, just see how that's getting along up on the top there. Okay, so we're our last field here, which was a grass field before we put it into maize, and it's showing the soil, good health of the soil, and how the crop is higher again, even though we didn't roll it to preserve that moisture. So there are plants like over this side. You can see patches of it where it's good height over my head. It's just starting to tassel there. I just did a little trial hole here, which I'll show you as well. Just put the spade down here. Very dry again on top. Little touch of moisture down there. I rolled over. There's your top half. Very dry. And then there's a little bit of moisture down there, but really nothing to write home about at all. So yeah, please keep us in your prayers for a bit of rain, guys. We certainly need it. Okay, we're just up at the top pad where we're going to be storing the grain. We got the pegs out along this line. Dug the first hole. Some base that's come out. Let's see how. Yeah, there we are. First hole's gone in. Just lifting one of the RSJs into place. Okay guys, so we just pushed that first one in with the bucket, so it doesn't look like we're going to need the breaker maybe. The ground's just very soft underneath, and probably because it's just very clayey, this field. It's actually our really worst maize field, so yeah, that's why I'm going in, it's looking in so easy there. that's where the concrete panel's going to sit, on that little step that Barry's got made. He's just going to see how much further it needs to go down. Richard was just levelling up, as you can see, just to make sure the post is straight. Yeah, 200 mil. That's right. Want that flush with the ground where his spirit depth measure is. Just going to shove that in a bit more. Oh, is he going to do it? Tracks off the ground there. Don't want to go much more in. I might have to tap that down a little bit. Okay, we've got a problem with our Vogelsan here. It's not pumping liquid down to the macerator at the front. So we're having to take apart the load pump that just sits there. Kay's got shut the valves off either side so that we don't get flooded with digestate from the tank. And she's just sucking them out with the hoover now and just seeing if there's something trapped in the load pump. A bit of plastic, a bit of rope, something like that. Okay guys, we've got the load pump apart. That's what it looks like with the plate off. That sucks the digestate from the back end of the tank and takes it forward in this pump line to the front macerator of the Vogelsan. But at the moment we're not sure why this pump is not running as quickly as it should. So we're just going to turn it on for a few seconds, see if it will run without the cover on. Okay, I found out what the problem was. These bolts had all come loose and this is shifted back that way. So these connecting cogs weren't together. So loosen that off, tap those back in place. So now that's hard, and we're just going to give it a run and see if that starts to spin. We put the quench pots either side, put those back on. We put the Vogelsan cover back on. We can open up the valves here and here to let the digestate back through. I've left the Vogelsan guards off just so I can see if that starts to spin and operate. I've just sent Kay down the end. She's going to switch it on for a few seconds and just see how it runs. Okay guys, there it's running. Safety back guard back on. It should be alright. There's the pressure, 0.8. Minus point something there, so it's getting through. That's the important thing. Wow, 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 look at this. It's come on nicely, hasn't it? It's all ready for concreting. It's all ready for concreting, isn't it? That's good, isn't it?
Marvellous, isn't it?
Ah!
Hello. Yeah, all right.
Looks pretty level too.
Yeah, just cheeky.
What's this, holding it up?
Yeah.
We've got to put a bit in the side, have we?
Yes.
Yeah.
I only put that way to hold it. I pushed it in the ground.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Ah!
Is it?
Looking the part, isn't it?
Small, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a nice little space, isn't it? Pouring out grain and everything. Real good thing.
When's that coming? Tuesday? Yeah.
Hopefully next week, yeah. Okay guys, we're at the plant. Just see the tank and tractor going up the hill there. Reason for that is this. Yesterday when we were looking at the pump here, the load pump at the back, there is a little pipe just down there which you can relieve the pressure on, and unfortunately the tap wasn't closed, and digestate formed a great big swimming pool here, like a giant cow pack. So we got the tanker on. They're starting to push in all the muck into our hole there, which is a cubic metre in the ground, concrete filled, and so we can contain any spill that comes, and they'll push all the digestate back into that hole and suck it up and then blow it out into the gluon up the top. So yeah, you forget one little thing here and you've got a day's work ahead of you. So yeah, not much fun. Okay guys, because we've got the end shed rented, we're storing now the rape, which we harvested yesterday. Took us a couple of days. We've also got some of this stored down in the clamp at the AD plant, and we've got barley in here as well. Barley's already starting to go out. We've had a couple of lorries today, a couple more this afternoon, a couple on Monday. So yeah, all go. Okay, so just around the back of the clamps that they put in with these barriers, they've dropped the concrete panel in here, and they've just secured it really nicely with a little bit of box metal in there, just hammered that in. So all of these are super tight, and then we'll come up around the back and use all the muck that we got about just to make a nice sort of slope down here. So the concrete will run up under there, and then we can put the muck up behind it. So yeah, that'll be a nice little area to store grain and load up from and everything. So the rest of the rape is down in the clamp here. We brushed this out yesterday. Luckily they put a bit of plastic on top. We had the first little bit of rain last night that we've had pretty much all month. Probably wasn't a great deal, to be honest with you, just about 5 or 6 mil probably. But there you go, sod's law. One day you don't want it to rain, it actually rains on you around here. So yeah, absolutely superb. Anyway, that's all nice and secure, and that can go out. Probably a couple of lorries there, maybe another 2.5 lorries possibly. So yeah, there we go.